Honourable Member for Brikama South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, in your answer, you didn't mention about the famous carnage mining, where we are told nickel has been mined in that particular area for almost a decade in this country. What is your ministry's state of preparedness to actually go into that area and see how best can we make that mining accountable to the people of the country? Thank you.
The heavy mineral mining activity is currently under the commission, and we will always go after the commission and then assess the place and see. But notwithstanding, I think already there's some dump. There's a dump there, and we're at the fight. But the commission is actually going to give directives what to do with it, because we already know, even before Carnegie, the mineral are there, even Soviet, and there are a lot of documentation on that, and up to the mine activity that went after Carnegie. But then at the moment, at least we have to get some approval from the commission to go and to do anything out there. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll take the last question from Honourable Member on this question from Cantora. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. In pursuant or in line with the response of the Honourable Minister, you haven't mentioned there is a particular mining going on at Masakonko by Gambia Bridge, and in our intervention with them, nothing has been given to area councils. Yes, in Masakonko area council, there is this particular mining going on there by Gambia Bridge, and they have been mining there for the past years, and then they have written to the department for their royalties, and it is not given to them. So I don't know whether your ministry is aware of that and you sell them on that. Secondly, does the geology department also give license to construction companies, road construction companies?
Very good. You talk about quarries relating to projects, government projects like roads, bridges, whatever. So far, some of these quarry materials they are embedded into the projects. Many of the projects, their materials are also part of it, but they have not been licensed, and that one I think the two government ministries will have to look into that. But they are actually, most of the time the projects, I think the cost of what materials are also embedded into the project. But then for their licensed operations, well, I don't want to interpret law here, but I think if quarry operations are sanctioned by law, I think you should also look into that. But definitely there are government projects and the road projects, there's quarry on the road sides to get materials for the road projects. Yeah, but then they have not been licensed so far. But we will have to look into that, work with the Minister of Works. But I don't know what area are they mining in Masako? The same quarries materials? Gambia Bridge. They are the one doing the bridge. I don't know. Huh?
You are right, it's a government project.
Yes.
Sorry, can we have some order, please? Let's allow the Minister to respond. Thank you.
And government is not charging any royalty. It's not factored in the project.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this particular bridge, I think it's related to the bridge. So that's why it is not. It's not a mining body. It's not a mining company. It's not a licensed mining company. It's a company carrying out a project for government. So they're exploiting the gravel for that project. That's it. But it's not a mining company.
Thank you.
That's it. That's it.
That is why it's always good to confine your supplementary questions to the main one, so that if you go outside, they may not have prepared themselves to give the details. Thank you. Question number 51, of 2018 by the Honorable Member for Combo East. We received notification from him yesterday that he will not be present this morning. So I'm not sure whether he gave authority to anybody or the Honorable Member. Pardon?
He gave me the authority.
Very well, then you can read his questions. Thank you. Table office, may I just suggest that in future, just a note will suffice to indicate that, no, for the chair at least, so that I will just call on the individual. Thank you. Yes, you can go ahead. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, would the Minister for Energy and Petroleum inform this August Assembly when will the ministry start the implementation of rural electrification project?
Madam Speaker, NAWC is currently implementing two electrification projects, one covering the communities of NBR, CRR, and URR, called the Rural Electrification Project, Extension Project, REAP, funded through the Indian Line of Credit. Construction of the transmission lines is currently ongoing, and the works are expected to be completed by end of this year. The second phase is for the expansion of transmission and distribution network in some parts of Combo North, Combo South, Combo East. This project is also funded by the Indian Line of Credit and will extend the transmission and distribution network from Kalaji to parts of Kiang. The materials for this second project are being manufactured in India, and the contractor is on the ground carrying out the necessary surveys in the beneficiary communities.
Madam Speaker, the Minister did mention that the second project is to expand the transmission and distribution in some parts in Combo North, South and East. Can you please be specific as to which villages are in effect, particularly the Combo North?
Madam Speaker, I don't have a specific villages here, but I've said this here before. So I will be able to give you, I don't have the actual villages with me right now from the Combo South and even anywhere else. But then the surveys are ongoing, and when it's finished, when it's mapped, they will exactly know which village and where the land will pass through.
Honorable Minister, I am still surprised and concerned why attention is not given to Brikama North, where you have the power plant located as far as this project is concerned.
Statement or a question?
Areas were mentioned.
No, I heard.
Yes, it's a question. My question is based on the concern and surprise why Brikama North is not captured among those areas where this expansion and this distribution were supposed to take place, even whereas the power plant is located in Brikama North.
It could have, I know it's a concern, but it could have been reframed in a sentence form,
Yes,
and he answered it, but maybe he'll get it. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Speaker, I said this here many times that projects cannot cover everywhere, but the overall objective is to cover every area of this country, whether through direct, grid or off-grid. So I can only take note of the concern and look for any future project or what we can do within this project. But these project details I don't have. But I don't want to say anything here which is not on record. And for Brikama North, wherever in Brikama, I believe everyone should have electricity. But definitely, it cannot be provided immediately.
Just the last one, Honorable
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, an observation, sir, ma'am.
That is an observation. This is the second time. This is the second time Honorable Minister is taking that note and did promise the other time that he is going to engage NAWEC to that
Please,
regard.
can you allow me to intervene? Somebody raised, I had somebody.
An observation, ma'am.
Yeah, but if you're raising a point, you should allow the chair to give you the floor. At least he was on his feet. So, you have a point of order or observation?
An observation, ma'am.
Yes.
This question is repetitive.
No, in that case, I will refuse that point of order. Can you continue?
Yeah, I'm saying that this is an observation. This is the second time the Honorable Minister is making that note, and the other time he did say that he is going to engage NAWEC to that effect.
Honorable Speaker, I know it is the concern of every member of this assembly to get electricity in the areas. And anytime I come here, concern is raised, I take it back to NAWEC to see what we can do about it. And I've just been briefed that this also become note is considered, but then exactly where has to be determined by the survey. But then, as I said, we have to be work according to the project scope and also according to the strategic plan that we have. But everywhere definitely is considered. It's not, we are not neglecting anywhere, but then it also has to do with our financial resources. So let the members bear with us that we want to electrify everywhere, but definitely resources are not available to electrify everywhere. But definitely efforts are being made to cover every part of the country.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my supplementary question will be based on the response the Minister gave, because if you look at it, he said the rural electrification project is covering communities in the North Bank, CRR and URR. And if I look at this and look at the Salums and Nyanijas, I laugh, because I think to qualify the response, it should have been some communities, because we are still there, we don't know what is happening. If it's a rural electrification project, I think it must be part of Senegal or part of the North Bank, because rural electrification project, we are not party to it. Thank you very much.
Yes, as I said, we will definitely consider everywhere in the country. And it's unfortunate that some areas have not been covered for some time, but this new government is looking at every part of this country. You know, it's the same thing in Kiang, and also I know there are only many other areas that they are talking about. They have not enjoyed electricity at all. You know, but then we have to expand from where the grid is and continue, or else we're going to continue having gaps. So we are doing everything humanly possible to get the resources and working with our partners to see where we can electrify the whole country. But that's unfortunate that it happened, and that's something that we inherited, but we are working towards electrifying the whole country.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Woolly West.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister mentioned 3 regions where rural electrification project is said to be done. Considering capacity, if this is being done concurrently, I mean if it is being done at the same time in all the 3 regions, how effective and diligent is it?
How?
Considering capacity, if it is being done in the 3 regions at the same time, you are working in the same regions at the same time, how effective is it considering capacity?
For the capacity, if you look at the energy sources, for example, in North Bank, you know, we are connected with Senegal temporarily. We are also building our own power. We have already power plants there, and we are increasing capacity. In your area also, Basse, we've already got 2.5 megawatts, and we are also increasing another 2.5 megawatts. So while we are electrifying, we are also increasing capacity. While we are extending lines, we are also increasing capacity. So, or else it's going to be a mismatch. But sometimes also, my belief is that you put your lines in place and then increase capacity. Because if you just increase capacity and you cannot dispatch it, then every production is cost and is money. So if you generate capacity and there's no land to transmit, you have excess capacity. And that excess capacity is cost. So that's why it has to be balanced. But definitely wherever we are extending, there's going to be enough capacity to supply it. Yes. That's why we are working on that. It's as you said, it's strategic planning. You have to strategize. And then, but that's the situation.
Thank you very much. Honorable Member for Upper Salum.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think part of my question was already asked by the Honorable Member for Nyanija, because he's my neighbor. Now, two things here that I wanted the Honorable Minister to make some clarifications on. One is the extension of the electrification extension project, and the second one is the transmission and distribution network. Now, our area, together with area actually, is Upper Salem and Nyanija. Basically, there are no poles, nothing, and I will assume that the transmission and distribution network actually has to be laid. Now, here you talk about the second project on expansion of the transmission and distribution network, and also relating that to a statement made by the MD of NAWEC a few days ago, that by the end of the year, the entire country will be 24/7 of electricity. I really wanted to confirm whether our area, Upper Salem and Nyanija, are also taken into consideration, confirming what you just said, and also what the MD of NAWEC actually has said over the media a few days ago. Thank you.
I think the media information given by the MD NAWEC is based on the project that has been formulated and then presented to government, and we are looking. If that happens, we get the funds for that. Definitely, it's going to cover 60% of the area. But that is what he's saying. If we are able to get these funds available, it's only program. National Rural Electrification Project is already designed, and network program is already designed. If you get the money, definitely we're able to fund it. But right now, NAWEC is working within their resources to be able to do, and a few projects that are already ongoing, able to fix alliance on it. But definitely, if the project, we have the resources, as planned, we're able to cover everywhere. But not what I'm saying everywhere is that some areas may not be able to get grid, but there are off-grid projects also we are designing.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you very much, Ma. Could the Honorable Minister be specific which areas in NBR would benefit from this, which communities in NBR will benefit from this rural electrification project? And I would also like to know whether the people of Lower Badibu will benefit this, particularly the north.
Well, I think, Madam Speaker, I think I've answered this thing many times, that it all depends on, we are planning and surveying, and then we will be specific when we are ready with the surveys and especially which area covered, land will cover. But as I said also, the MP from member from Badibu, I think Badibu has, many areas of Badibu has already been covered. And as I'm talking to you now, we are extending, closing the gap between Farafeni and Eliasa, and very soon from all the way from Kaur all the way to Kerawal, we'll get 24 electricity. You know, so I think not much to complain from my friends from Badibu. But as I said, specificity will come after the surveys, and we can give and mapping. We'll be able to give you specific locations.
Thank you. Opanyumi. Okay. Oh, it was the point of order that you raised. Yes. Nyamina West.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister do mention Sierra is part of the priority area. I want to ask the Honorable Minister, whether it's Sierra North or Sierra South, because I haven't seen any activity that is going on Sierra North, Sierra South. Electricity was brought up to Pakaliba and it jumped the two Nyaminas to Nyamina East. So I'm asking whether the two Nyamina West and Nyamina whether is included on this project.
Madam Speaker, I still go back to my answer, what I've given. When we survey, we'll give you where it is. East, west, south, we will cover, but we have to get the resources to cover everywhere. But definitely, I mean, every member of this national assembly has an area that is not covered, and both water and electricity. But we are working within our limited resources, and definitely we have planned projects. If we get the projects done, we will cover all the areas. But it's difficult for me to tell you right now that, in fact, it may be started to tell you this village, X village, because we have a problem now, you know.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Concerning the communities in the North Bank region, that the Minister said enjoying 24 hours electricity supply from Senegal. My concern is in terms of, are there any safeguard arrangements in terms of backup when this supply is not forthcoming? Would the communities continue enjoying this 24 hours electricity
That's
service?
what I'm saying. I mean, currently in Quarrying we have 2.5 megawatt generator. And another 2.5 megawatt generator is currently on the ground. So it's like 5 megawatts. And we are only taking 3 megawatts from Senegal. So there's capacity. Even if Senegal shut up now, we have a backup. We also have backup. We have backup in Basse. We have in how place Bansang. We have also a machine in Kerawan and also Bara. So all those are still there. Yeah. We also have Plan B.
On to the next question, number 52 of 2018, by the Honorable Member for Bundunka Kunda. Honorable Member for Bundunka Kunda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the floor. Madam Speaker, could the Honorable Minister for Energy and Petroleum tell this August Assembly why petrol station owners dilute gas fuel before they sell it to customers, which is not good for our engines, and what is the ministry doing about it? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, the Petroleum Products Act 2016 gives PURA, that's the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, the mandate to license and monitor the downstream petroleum activities. Since 2017, PURA and my ministry have engaged the sector operators to regularize their status, and so far some have filed in service station licenses. My ministry and PURA have already developed regulations and fuel importations, service station operations, fuel storage depot regulations, fuel transportation and health and safety regulations. The aim of the Petroleum Products Act and the regulations are aimed to ensure consumer protection, quality services, volumetric integrity, and fuel quality integrity. The regulations have been submitted to Aegis chambers for gazetting. PURA has received reports of adulteration of petroleum products at some service stations and has in fact started the testing of the products in the market. So far, samples products were collected, tested in the lab in Dakar in 2017. Virtually all the samples passed the test. However, PURA will continue to closely and aggressively monitor fuel quality, especially now that we have developed regulations and national standards. PURA is also aware that unregulated diesel could be finding its way into the market, and is currently working in ensuring that all players in the downstream market are licensed and that their facilities meet the national standards.
Honorable Minister, it is also a fact that also there are some individuals who sell these gas wells in their compounds. I don't know whether you are aware of that too, and I don't know what your minister is doing about it.
Anybody selling gas oil wherever should actually have should be authorized license. So if anybody is selling gas oil in your compound, it's illegal. And when it's known, PURA will have to take action on that. But remember, these regulations are just coming now. The Act just came in recently, and now we are developing the regulations. And PIRA is now responsible for monitoring and enforcing the law. But selling in the corners, selling in the compounds are illegal. And if it is reported, PIRA will take action on that.
Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Ma. Honorable Minister, you made mention in your answer that sample products were collected and tested in a lab in Dakar, 2017. Why testing in Dakar, not in Gambia?
Very good. That is simple, because you don't have laboratory in the Gambia. The only lab, accredited lab, if it's not even accredited, we don't even have field-tested laboratory, unlike water. And we test, they tested in Dakar. That is the closest place you test.
Member for Woolly West.
Madam Speaker, for purposes of regularity and efficiency, isn't there a need for us to develop our own technical devices to do this testing on the ground? Are you not planning to do that? And with urgency?
Very good. I think that we're working on that. That's why we have a standards bureau. The Standards Bureau and the PIRA are working on to establish a laboratory. But remember, laboratories have to meet certain standards themselves. They have the ISO standards. So we're definitely going to build our own facility and test. And I also need the urgency. But testing fuels in anywhere, any accredited laboratory is okay, just with the cost. Because even fuel being imported, before they comes the ship is tested, and the tested results are sent to the depot before they load. And even on offloading also, they take a sample, the lab representatives are in the country. So your question of establishing our own is definitely a need, and we're working on it. But as I said, the urgency is there, and we're going to look at it.
No, already my answer has been taken care of, the member for Woolly West.
Thank you very much, Ma. Honorable Minister, I think the time that it will take to transport them to Dakar and bring them back, it's costing more harm, because some people are just suffering. Just recently, I took my vehicle to the mechanic, and he told me that my tank is full with water. So what urgency are you doing to make sure that the suffering will be minimized? Thank you.
When you come to well adulteration, sometimes it's not at the level of the service station. It could be anywhere. But then taking samples to Dakar is just like a matter of 2-3 days, you get your results. Fine, I agree with you. By the time you test and you come back, maybe a lot of those fuel will be in the system. Because that's the challenge. But then the only way out of that is have kind of mobile testing laboratory, not even the main one, so that you can go on the spot, test on the spot, and act on the spot. So they're the only strategy. But then fuel import coming into the country are tested, and then test results are always received. But then at the level of distribution, that's why some malpractice can happen. And if these are not reported, sometimes it becomes difficult. But PIRA is becoming very vigilant. Now they have the law in place. They have to act in their hands. They're very vigilant. And I take note of your complaint.
Thank you very much. Lower Badibu.
Thank you, ma'am. My question has been taken care of.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Minister, you inform us that PIRA is also aware that unregulated diesels could be finding its way into the market, and is currently working in ensuring that all players in the downstream markets are licensed and that their facilities meet the national standard. Now, if PIRA is aware of this, have they ever informed the general public about this issue? Have they ever informed the Gambian people about this issue? Thank you.
As I said, PIRA is just taking up this responsibility. and they're building their own capacity. So engaging general public, and they are also now engaging the operators to regularize their status. So when that happens, then start getting information and getting their standards, and at least we inform the public of authentic information and the next action. But definitely, as I'm speaking to you now, PIRA is well aware, and they are working on it. But they are regulatory body, you know. We are the policy making, but we made the policy, we made the regulations and the license authority to them, and they are working on that. But PIRA always also have this public outreach that they do in the other areas like telecommunication, and they will definitely do the same when we come to petroleum products.
Part of your question.
My question that I'm going to ask, they are related. Yeah, but I'm not that much satisfied with the answer that he gives, so that's why I want to put a follow-up question.
Yeah, I know.
They've informed the public about the adulteration.
Yeah, all what I want to know now.
Did you hear his answer?
Yeah, I heard his answer very well. But now he's not different.
Okay, let him hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, what I want to know, Honorable Minister, can you just put this to period and let them come up with a time frame that they're going to inform the general public whenever there is a need to inform the people? Let them not wait and say that our capacities are not built right now. We cannot go to the public and inform them. Because this issue, we believe, everybody should know. As the Honorable nominated member said that he went to a mechanic, and they said that the car is full of water or whatsoever. Had it been that the Pura informed people on time, I think we will know what to do. So, thank you.
Yes, as I'm saying, you see, PIRA is acting on a kind of a law. And this law, even the regulations that we are in now to gazette, and if not being gazetted, they can enforce the law. But being aware and also establishing the fact is different, you know. So they are aware that certain things may be happening. But there's somebody actually must be reporting, and they can act quickly. But then it takes a bit of time to be able to put all the regulatory mechanisms in place. There was no fair regulatory mechanism in this country. It's just starting. So we have to build their own capacity, and we have to put all the laws in place. But notwithstanding, as I said, every concern raised is noted, and we will take it up with Pura. But that is the situation as I know it now. Definitely.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Nyomi.
Thank you, Madam. If you are responsible for a place, Madam Speaker, can the Minister advise us which petrol station is the safest for us to be fueling our...
Madam Speaker, I think all stations should be safe if they don't deliberately adulterate, because they all get it from one source, and that's from the depot. And the fuel in the depot is safe. So unless it is deliberately adulterated somewhere, or they have a problem with their tank, then that becomes a problem. And that is difficult to monitor unless and until it's reported. But definitely, every state, except those where you are in the compounds or somewhere, I mean, those areas, there's no guarantee. But service stations should be safe if they meet standards.
Thank you. As we are talking about fuel quality, I want to ask the Honorable Minister whether he is aware of a Chinese company in Mandinari that is refining this born oil into gas oil. I want to know how quality is that product that they are producing from that factory, and also for you to be aware that that factory is posting environmental threat to that community. Thank you.
Good. The refinery...
Honorable Minister, please, I think that's a very pertinent question, but in all fairness, it's a new question. No, I think so. And I was very careful with the choice of my words. I said it's very important, you know, but to relate it to the original question is very long. So I think you should have come up with a new question. Maybe if you can reframe it to
I think
be a supplementary question.
The second part I did it deliberately. I know that one is not connected to it, but we are talking about quality. I said, how quality is that product that they are producing from that factory? Because they are refining burnt oil into gas well. So how quality it is that?
I'm saying that there's a new content, burning in using burnt oil or whatever to gas oil.
Yes.
That's something new. That's what I'm saying. Let me allow the honourable member for Woolly West.
Honourable Minister, I think it was difficult for you to answer that question, whether which place is safe. You are right, everywhere should be safe. But my question is, are you thinking of developing a mechanism of monitoring? And can you do that? Or isn't it necessary for you to call the stakeholders, have a meeting with the stakeholders and give them this information that there is complaint by the public that what they are selling is polluted somehow?
Very good. In the first place, regulations and licensing systems are the first step of managing the downstream sector. Also, it gives also PIRA the mandate and also a way of monitoring. And it also gives PIRA also a way of actually going to find out and look at the standards of every station. So when they don't meet the standards, PIRA have the right to close a station. So the monitoring mechanism is being developed, and the first step is the law. So we're going to the act, the regulations, and now PIRA is building capacity to be able to monitor. That's why I'm saying everyone should be safe. If you are not safe, you are playing games, your day will come. And in PIRA, which also will be operating and informing public, as they do in other areas that are regulating.
Member for Lower Salome, let me give him an opportunity, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you explain this August House why the price of fuel is increasing every time? And if there is any mechanism to put in place to control this price of fuel?
The price increasing?
Yeah.
Price increasing where?
For fueling.
It's increasing somewhere. Oh, here? Well, my ministry is not actually fixing the prices. It's Minister of Finance. And why the increasing, let me not try to answer that because I may be wrong. But definitely I'm not responsible. My ministry is responsible. It's Minister of Finance.
In fact, the original question was on fuel adulteration, not prices. Thank you. May I call on the honourable member? Last question, Woolly East. Please, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, my concern is that whether we like to know it or not, there are thousands of people selling fuel in compounds all across the country, especially in the rural areas. The fact that there are no petrol stations in Woolly East, for example, and Woolly West, and Tumana. So we have operators there who are selling fuel in villages and in compounds. And the prices are in fact higher than in petrol stations. But the safety and protection of life and property is also very important. What advice would you give to petrol operators with a bid to obtain licenses in the right way? And do you have offices in the rural areas to issue licenses to such people? Thank you.
It is not even a matter of issuing licenses to operate in anywhere. It's just a matter of you have a license to operate a station. You can operate 10 stations, 20 stations, and you can build stations anywhere. You know. So even if you get one license, that license to operate a station, you can operate. But then the station has to meet standard requirements, environmental requirements, and other things. So, but I think just to encourage companies to open stations, or if people in that area, they want to operate stations and they want to operate license and they have the financing to operate, they can get license to build fuel stations. Unfortunately, in some part of the country, they don't have service stations. This is why when GNPC came on board, they started to put stations in critical areas. And I think we just have to encourage, but this is all private activity. So to encourage private people to also to invest in those areas. But then that is it. Unfortunately, it's private sector led, and but a licensing system is not a problem. You can get a license from PIRA, and then you can operate anywhere in the country. Yeah.
The member for Banjul North did indicate some. Maybe if you just exercise some little bit of patience, the records are before me, I know, so that you could provide details on his questions the last time we were here. So we want to allow you to provide the details if you have them with you.
I think,
if you can, honorable member, if you can refresh his memory on the requirements that were made to him. I think it was Wednesday's sitting. You are asking about figures. Yes. You've seen it. You have it? Yes, your mic, please. Thank you.
Okay. Concerning the problem confronting NAWEC in providing uninterrupted electricity supply to customers, could the Honorable Minister for Energy and Petroleum inform this August Assembly on efforts being undertaken to address the problem by providing an update on the status of all projects and operations being undertaken by NAWEC up to November 2017? Of course, if you can have an update to address the problem. That's the first one. The second one was about inform the August Assembly the financial status of NAWEC regarding the volume of debts and the breakdown of the sum owed by its debtors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I do have a comprehensive detail of all the projects ongoing, and I will definitely provide this to the clerks, to everybody. But then I will just give a summary of projects that we have, ongoing projects, and one we call the electricity expansion and rehabilitation project in the Greater Banjul area, and this is a project to the $22.5 million signed in October 2014, and the update on that is that the advance payment received. The EPC contractor, Indian contractor, KEI, is already mobilized. Survey of the project area is in progress. That's the update on the project. And the other project is the asbestos replacement and water expansion project, for water project in GBA, again in the GBA. And there is also through Indian Line of Credit, $22.5 million, and also signed in October 2014. And again, the update here is that the contractor, which is Sapoji, is already also mobilized on the ground now. Okay. The next one is Red Extension Project. About first phase, $20 million, and plus $10 million in phase 2 ongoing, which are all ongoing. These are some of the questions we have been answering about, talking about extension, CRR, URR, and whatever. These are the extension projects. These are ongoing. And the other one is the 11 megawatt Kotu power plant expansion. There's the new power engine in Kotu station, and this is about $22.32 million. Is being funded by Badia and OFID, and already the engine is completely commissioned.
Observation. Can the minister just furnish us with this document so that to save your time?
Yes, definitely. I have. That's why I'm just reading the summaries and then I'll give you copies.
Yeah.
And the document will be photocopied and
Yes.
circulated. So at least I think that's better, so we save time.
Yes.
If, I think during the course of the session, you have any supplementary.
Let me read you the project, and all the details are here.
And the financial aspect also, NAWEC is without money, but so much money is owed to NAWEC. So much money is owed to NAWEC, and nothing is being done about it. So we want the details of all those institutions, persons, and ministries owing NAWEC. I know Basse Area Council alone is owing NAWEC almost $30 million. 30 million. And they continue to supply energy to the electricity. Is that correct?
I have the details with me, and all the figures, everything is with me. I'll go to supply it. Well, what I'm saying, something is being done. In the first place, Minister of Finance is working with NAWEC to have some of his loans to be paid, and there are going to be some officering, and then part of these area council loans also will be taken up by Minister of Finance. So definitely, already an MOU has been signed between NAWEC and Minister of Finance, and other debts also, like the state-owned enterprises, GRTS, GCC, National Assembly. That also, I think I was informed that the debt collector is what's the name again? AMRC will be following up that on behalf of NAWEC. And for Kalila Farm also the same thing. Yes, debt collector, AMRC will be following up that. But I have all the details and here.
Yes, thank you very much. We can just round up so that he allow him to hand it over to the table office for onward distribution.
I have a point of order, ma'am. I have a point of order.
Please, can we?
Sure.
Ma'am,
I have a point of order on standing order number 18, which actually reads, a question shall not be asked without notice unless it is of an urgent and important character and the leave of the speaker has been obtained. And I want to seek leave from you to ask this very important question relating to something he did mention, which is of something that's very important. And the fact that we don't quite often have them here, and he's here present today, I really want to ask him that question with your permission, by using standing order number 18.
Standing order is in, or it's the provision that you have read is in order, but I would rather we allow him to make available the document that he has. Let us distribute it. And then based on that, you can ask supplementary questions.
No, it's not related.
You can ask other questions.
No, it's not related actually to this document.
So please, let's just proceed along these lines. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. So that table office, I think you can get that one later. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for the answers provided, and honorable members, thank you very much for your intervention. You are now released. Thank you. Clerk, we can proceed, please. Thank you.
Questions for oral answers. Honorable Minister for Trade, Regional Integration and Employment.
Thank you. Questions for which due notices were given to the Honorable Minister for Trade, Regional Integration and Employment by honorable members for oral reply. Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members will recall that there has been quite a backlog of questions for the Honorable Minister. So I'll suggest we start with the 2017 backlog, and that's question number 215 of 2017 by the Honorable Member for Banjul North. Can we, Honorable Member, let's allow her to, yes, settle down. Thank you.